Right then guys, we're back at the pointy end. Last week we did all these planks, didn't we? But what we need to do now is start taking the inner stem out, which I think is called the apron. So to get the apron off, we've got these big bolts here. What we've realised is that the apron is actually made up in two parts. Looking from the top, you couldn't actually tell it was in two parts. But the material we've got to go in is one big chunk, so I think we're just going to put it in one big chunk. So what I'm going to do is take the very forward end of the port side beam shelf off, because we are replacing that. I know we keep making it weaker and weaker and weaker, but we need to take that off so we can get down the side of it to get the old apron out. So it's just spinning like the other one did. Basically like a big sort of T-bar, T-shape on the end, and I think it's just spinning. It's a good pass jab with the water grips. Right, so next on the agenda is this triangle shaped piece. Gonna try and get that off. I'm going to start chiseling from the inside, and then I think Jeb is going to go on the outside. There's loads of flathead screws that hold it on, but if I can start weakening it with that, make the screws come out easier, wouldn't it? Right, I'm hiding now in the chain locker because it's a bit windy outside. Right, so we now remove them wedgy bits there. So what we need to do now, what I'm going to do is just do a cut on this big board here, and hopefully that whole board then will be away. I'm not necessarily worried about the cut at the moment because we're going to do a nice scarf on it, but we're just going to cut it, get it away, then we can have a good look at it then, can't we? Okay, so we moved the big covering board, I'm going to call it. So all this damage here is from my lever. This is the apron, maybe, which, to be honest with you, it's mint. Obviously, right at the top here, it's a bit rotty, isn't it? But I think we need to do a bit of a re-evaluation on how much of this stem we're actually going to change, because that bit is good. Apart from the top bit, obviously. But we want to extend it anyway, don't we? We want to make it big and strong and do a carving of Gemma's face on the front of it. Might need some more wood for that, but... Right, what we're going to do is re-evaluate, figure out how we're going to do it, and then we'll fill you guys in. If you can hear me because of the stupid wind.
So for once, some good news. We thought it was all going to be absolutely rotten. So as it stands at the moment, Simon's cut down to that's the inner piece that is cut off. Okay, so we know this bit, this top bit is rotten, so we need to cut that out. So we did want to extend, there's the deck level, we wanted to extend the stem. So now all we have to do is go back to the workshop, and what we'll do is we'll cut a piece of wood like that to attach it in, and then we can bolt it through. Obviously we've still got the outer stem to do, but not yet, so we won't worry about that. So we've cut up to there now. It will we'll extend it up because we wanted to for the bulwarks, and we only have to replace the very top bit.
Woo!
Yay!
So we didn't have to buy this massive big chunk of Iroko. I might be able to make this out of some smaller other pieces we've got and save the big chunky bit for later.
Yeah, but I don't know, we want a big chunky bit at the top above the deck, so we may as well use it. But the good thing is, we've been panicking about how we're going to get a massive piece over, and it's a lot smaller now, so we should be able to carry it.
So we'll be able to stick it in a wallet or a pocket.
Cool, right, so
I could smuggle it over as a splinter.
So now we only have to go and cut off the very top bit, and then we can do some measurements and go back and get it made.
Oh darling, you make it sound so easy.
No, it is. It is.
Double easy. Right, just gonna go outside now, cut the very top off the inner stem to come down below the rot level. I'm talking now from inside because it's howling outside. So, yeah, I'm doing any talking outside.
So now Simon's cut away all the bad, well, and some good, to be honest. So the inner stem here, the wood is absolutely perfect. And then, so they've got this first bit of inner stem and then this bit as well. And that is the same. Absolutely mint. This is the outer stem, obviously that is getting replaced, so we're just going to leave that there for now.
Right, so we're now onto the template stage now of the apron.
Oh, this is where the Wales and his dog comments that you should make templates with hot glue and bits of stick.
Ah, I know why they're saying that, because they've seen it somewhere else.
Yeah, Just because someone somewhere else does it like that doesn't mean that we have to. Also the fact hot glue with wood very easily comes off, and we've got to take this piece of wood from the boat all the way to the van, in the van to work,
40 miles,
and by the time we get there all these little bits of sticks are all over the van and we go, where do we put them?
No, there is a time and a place.
Just not here.
We like measuring and adjusting and using compasses, and that's just how we vote, because we do always on big curves and one hit. Anyway, let's cut this.
So many different ways to achieve something.
To achieve a goal,
just, you know, none of them are wrong. I mean, you know, everyone has their own way of doing stuff, and this is the way that we've always done it, and we've worked building motorhomes for many years.
It's like millimetre perfect.
And vans are not square, so we're quite good at making templates.
Anyway, rant over.
Rant over, Gemma. Get to work.
This is not a drill, shirt says.
It's not a drill.
Right, come on. Anyway, right, so we've done that. Obviously, this is only a template. You can keep adjusting the template. The template is over big at the moment, so we can adjust it. It's fine, don't panic. My biggest hate is this crappy old jigsaw.
Whoa. Do you want a better blade? Or you're not bothered?
It's a template. Just so happens, this is actually motorhome wood that we're using, look. Plywood, super lightweight, dead easy to cut.
And carry.
And carry, look. We do it with, I would say one finger, but I think we can do it with them two. Right, I'll be back.
And I'm not climbing all the way out this hole to watch them do two cuts, so we'll just wait here. So while we're waiting here, have you been over to our second channel? We have Ship Happens Adventures. On there you're going to see all the crazy stuff that we like to do in our spare time. And for anyone who followed the little fishing boat restoration video on here, the video of us actually competing in the Sea Angling Classic is on there now. So if you'd like to keep watching us crazies, yeah, pop over and give it a watch. It's not just going to be about fishing all the time, it is going to be about other stuff when we get a minute to actually go and do something fun.
So what we need to do now is figure out how high it's got to go. So how big our finished piece is going to go. We've now got our profile of our angles, haven't we?
So I've sanded back all the planks and I'm just going to give them a coat of primer, so then after we've come back from the workshop the paint will be dry and we'll be ready to fit the stem.
Right, so we've got our stem now in the workshop. We've got our 10 plates. So what we need to do is make one of these, but what we're going to do is make it solid. As we know, these are in two pieces, so I like a central stem, then an outer stem, loads of different pieces. So we're going to try and make it in one piece. So let's go look at our wood supply. Okay, so here's all of our Iroko stock. Quite a good collection, isn't it? One of them little wispy sort of fly things sticking on. So what we need is 220. So we've got this one here, that's 220 wide. Or we've got the one that we initially bought for the job, but this is only 190 wide. So I think we're going to use this one, but this one is actually quite wide enough. And what we're going to do is we're going to prepare this one and we're going to actually glue additional pieces onto it with our lovely epoxy.
So the issue we have with all of the bits of wood that we've got is none of them are wide enough, because we need it to be 220mm wide, and all of our pieces, well, this one's about 200, even the big trunk back there is only 190. But also the issue with having anything over 200mm is it won't go through our planer. So we don't want to laminate two pieces together to have the join in the middle of the stem, because that's where all the bolts go through. So we don't want bolts for the stem fixings going through a laminated joint. So what we've decided to do is cut this piece down to about 190, so it's got room to go through our planer, because this piece of wood is not symmetrical. It's on a bit of a wedge by about 5mm, so it all needs planing up anyway. So if we cut this to 190, plane it up through to the planer, and then what we can either do is we can just put a 30mm laminated piece on the end, or we could put two 15mm pieces on either end to make it look symmetrical. So let's get the planer out and cut this wood up and get it planed.
Right, this is hard enough in our heads without trying to describe it to you guys, but we're going to give it a really good go. So here's the boat as we speak, can you see? Here's the deck, here's the stem, here's the keel. Okay, so what we've done now is we basically, so I can't even work out now my little thing here. Right, so we basically remove that, and what we've got on the boat now is a step there, and as we know this is two pieces, and now we've got a step there. So we basically removed this section here. What we want to do is extend this up here because of our bulwarks that are going on. What they did originally, they just put a piece on top there and prayed and hopefully it would stay in position. But what we want to do is make it stronger, learn from the 80s, don't we? So we need to make a piece now which is cut out like this. But what I've not detailed on the drawing here is actually the boats around here actually starts to change angle ever so slightly there. So what we want to do is retain this angle of the hull. So our piece is actually going to stick out on a bit more of an angle. I've probably exaggerated it ever so slightly there. So we need to cut our lap joint, anyway our joint's going to go there, which is all going to be bolted through, blah 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 blah. But what this is giving us is a funny angle on this joint. So instead of being two parallels, it's going to be a slight taper. So let's go and try and figure that out. So as you can see from our template, it actually tapers down here, because that's our new angle change. Because obviously the original stops around here, but we want to extend it further, so we can't have this like expanding piece of stem. So we want to change the angle. This is the perfect place to do the angle change. So our angle change, so we're going to be removing this section here. We're not going to be putting this wedgy part in, because otherwise if we kept this wedgy part in, it'll just get massive and massive and massive more towards the top. So what we need to do now, dead easy, just transfer this to our new piece. So what we're going to do is cut this piece out. We're going to cut this wedgy bit into it first, and then we're going to increase the bulk. Basically, if we make a mistake doing this, then we haven't spent ages gluing and all that sort of jazz, have we? Right, so let's mark this out, figure out we're going to cut this wedgy line onto it. No. Okay, so it's all marked out now. So we've got the marks all the way around, so all the marks meet up with the corresponding other marks, so we know it's pretty square side to side. What we're going to do now is cut it, but we're not going to cut it to the exact marks. We're going to leave a bit of margin for error, and then we can then plane and sand back to it. Because all we've got is a circular saw. Can't really pull it through the big saw because the big saw won't cut through all in one hit, so we've got to cut all of the sides, and then hand saw it back through to meet in the middle, and then we can machine it back. So wish me luck with the circular saw. Right, so because my saw will only cut 60mm, basically that leaves 60mm right in the centre of the timber that we need to cut. So unfortunately, we'll have to hand saw it. Luckily, Gemma's just been out and bought me a brand new hand saw, so that should help.
Excuse me. Put a mask on, please.
Put a mask on?
Yeah, it's a ropo. Stop. Naughty boy.
Why don't you do it?
I'm doing an important job.
Beautiful. Only took 10 minutes. I'm pleased about the new saw though. That was a bit awkward, wasn't it? Right, we need to make up the width now. So we need to make it 20mm wide on either side. So plane these up. They're going to get glued, but before we get glued, what we need to do is cut out the wedgie shape. Right, so these are all cut up now. I've done it correct now. I definitely didn't make a mistake before. So when I cut these, I didn't allow for the thickness of the outer pieces that we were going to be gluing on, because obviously our material wasn't quite big enough, so we're going to make it a bit thicker. So yeah, basically ready for glue. But I've lost my gluer. I don't know what she's doing. Should we go have a look? What are you doing?
Side project. Not on boat related whatsoever. So our mason's got 2 little parrots, and the weather's been really hot lately, and because they sort of free roam around his room, he can't open his windows in case they fly away. So I'm building a guard so he can open his windows, but then also like a crazy play area for the birds. So I don't know if you can see me plan. Probably makes no sense to anyone but me, but by the end of this episode I might be finished and you can sort of visualise it. So that's what I'm doing.
Basically, I've got to mix my own glue. Never mind.
I don't mind coming and help, yeah?
No, I'll mix glue. No, it's fine, I'll mix glue.
Okay.
Alright, so before we glue it all up, I'm going to give it all a good sand with some 80s grit sandpaper. So it gives it a nice key then, doesn't it? Right, so to glue it all together, we're going to be using our West system. We're going to go for the faster cure. It's a bit cool today, so what we're going to do first is we're going to pre-wet it all, and then we're going to mix up a batch of thickened epoxy, and then we're going to stick it all together. Gloves job. Right, so it's all glued up now, clamped up. Best leave it a day or so now, and then we need to cut the angles on it. So there's some angles to go on this now, where it meets the planks on the hull. So that's the next job. But let's see what the most important job has been in the workshop today. Let's see. What have you been up to?
Ta-da! It's done!
What the hell is it? It looks like a window.
So this is our Mason's bedroom window hole sort of thing.
Can't afford glass.
So he hasn't been able to open his windows in the heat in case the birds fly out. So now the opening windows are now behind the cage.
Whoa.
So he can open the cage, open and close his windows as he needs to. So we're not suffocating our son in a really hot bedroom anymore. And then I've made this little area so the birds have got a bit more things to play on around this room. I've still got quite a few little bird toys and stuff to hang off this. So this is going to be like a little enrichment area for the birds. So yeah, that was my random project for today.
So we better go and see if it fits and see if the birds enjoy it.
Happy dance. Dance.
Right, so all the glue's gone off now, so we need to try and see if we can get the clamps off. How did your birds like your
They loved it.
Your roost?
Yeah, they were a bit dubious at first because it's sort of new, but yeah, they really enjoyed it. That was a win.
And Gemma made it, so they might have thought, oh yeah, probably fall apart now and there.
Cheeky. Okay, that's not supposed to be there. She goes to show how strong just a little bit of epoxy is.
Yeah. Right, so we now got rid of all the excess glue and all the highs and lows, so I've now remarked where we need to cut now. And if you probably can't really say, look down it. It's actually very high in the middle. So what we need to do now is slowly sneak up on it, machine that back. Right, so she's standing up quite nice now. What we need to now do is put some angles on her. So where the planks meet the stem now, because obviously the planks aren't square to the world, are they? So we now need to alter the stem now to fit that. So with this being the original part of the stem, we basically have, so we've come down further so we can get a nice join on it. But what we've done, we've extended it, haven't we? So we've gone massively over length. We sort of estimated like 1.2, so 4 foot above deck level, then we went a bit more. And I think the bulwarks are going to be a metre, I think. But we've gone too big on the stem. What I don't want to do is cut the angles on the upper part of the stem, because like as the bulwarks come round they might change angles and I don't want to guess them now, so we're going to leave them square for now. So this here is the deck height. So basically when we get above the planks, so that's all above the planks there, so I'm just going to cut the angle just slightly above the deck height so we won't have any interferences when we're putting it in. So yeah, there we go. And I might not go all the way, I might do the final fine tune when we're on the boat. Right, so here's our new stem.
It's a big piece of hardwood, isn't it?
Yeah, so here we've tried to simulate it so we can get the best visualisation. This here is roughly deck height. So if you imagine we're down in the anchor locker down there, and then the deck up there. Hang on, I'll stand there.
I think they know.
So basically, yeah, here's the deck height. This is far too big at the moment, but we can do our Titanic pose, can't we, up here and just watch that. Okay. Hopefully this ship doesn't sink though when we do the Titanic. That's what I'm blaming them. So what we're getting on now. So do you remember this one we made? Obviously if you're avid viewers, you've seen us make this. So that goes around here somewhere. Obviously this isn't cut to size yet. But it's exciting, isn't it?
So I think before we take this big piece of wood back over to the boat, because the top is going to be left outside for quite a while, let's paint it. So it's paint your boat parts time. So yeah, there's our big bit of hardwood done, our stem.
Yes, I've just realised we actually made the boat longer. So it should be 72 feet now, it should be 73 feet or 4 feet maybe.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, we can't have it longer.
No.
It's going to cost us more in marina fees and they're expensive enough as it is.
An extra 2 foot a week.
Right then, so I'm going to wait for that to dry, I'm going to give it a second coat just because it is out in the elements. Obviously I need to like reshuffle clamps and do bits that I've missed. But yeah, next time you see this, it will be on the boat.
Yeah, I'll probably carry it over. It's not as heavy as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be, because we had that massive chunk, didn't we? Well, I couldn't pick that up, but it's a bit skinnier, it's a bit nicer now.
Cool.
Well, right, cheers guys.
Yeah, right, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Please like, subscribe, comment.
Yeah, because it helps.
Yeah, it does, it does.
We like it. It makes us happy when we see all these likes and comments and stuff. So.
And if you want to see next week's video, you can actually join us on Patreon, and we give our Patreon supporters the videos a week early, ad-free.
And behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, you get a lot more up-to-date content, and every pound really does help, because every penny goes towards the cost of restoring Sarinda.
Yeah, because we're not cheaping out, we're using the high-end paint, high-end materials, high-end fixings. You know what I mean? We've just bought all the big fixings to fix all this, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, boat stuff isn't cheap, but
everything we do, we want it to last, so.
Yeah, and thank you so much to everyone who already does support us, because it does make all of this possible.
Yeah.
So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next week.
See you later. Thank you. Goodbye.
How many people think that it's their phone when my phone makes a noise? Thank you all so much for watching. Please consider subscribing if you haven't done already, as it really helps the channel out. See you all next week.